More than 90% of people who have an addiction started to drink or use drugs before the age of 18, according to the Addiction Center website. But what is the hidden driver that encourages such behaviors? When our brain receives an intense stimulation, the brain's reward system releases a hormone. The loss of control over a reward-seeking behavior can be attributed to the neurotransmitter dopamine. Today, I will discuss what happens when the feel-good hormone is released in response to pleasurable experiences and as a result trains the brain to seek out positive experiences and avoid negative ones. The Kids Health Organization defines addiction as an urge to do something that is hard to control or stop. When someone doesn't have the strength to put an end to an action or behavior, an addiction has begun. An addiction does not only refer to the dependency on substances. There are other types of addictions that revolve around the inability to stop. For example, gambling, overly working, or the extreme use of cell phones is also an example. Once addictions develop, it is hard to stop. Many people fall into an addiction trap because they are seeking to feel good. This is where the neurotransmitter dopamine becomes crucial in addiction. Experiencing positive sensations cause our brain to release dopamine and take note of what triggered the sensation. The brain takes pleasure as a feeling of reward. As the article, Effects of Dopamine, How Dopamine Drives Human Behavior put it, we are encouraged to repeat this behavior. Dopamine is what reinforces this behavior. It is believed that it is a chemical that motivates humans to do something. The feeling of pleasure can lead to an addiction in some cases, according to an article posted by the Mail on Sunday. Dr. Mohammed Saeed wrote an article about the effects of dopamine, and it states that high levels of dopamine can be caused by drinking, gambling, playing video games, or overuse of social media. The more dopamine the brain releases, the harder it becomes to stop participating in pleasurable experiences. A Harvard Health article states that high levels of dopamine that are released hijack the brain and lead to an addiction. The overstimulation, according to the genetics department of the University of Utah, decreased the brain's response to natural rewards. This means that a person may not be able to feel pleasure unless it is triggered by the abuse, substance, or activity. As a result, the addiction intensifies because people are looking for a bigger feeling of pleasure. The brain no longer recognizes the experience as negative. Dopamine is no longer released at the same level as it was when the addiction first began. Each time our brain senses pleasure through an addictive action or substance, the amount of dopamine that is released increases. Therefore, we need to feel more and more pleasure, and it will never be fulfilled. The neurotransmitter dopamine is influential in the abuse of substances or engagement of activities. The mass production of dopamine is what leads to an addiction. It can take the pleasure from negative substances and situations to trick the brain into believing that it is good. Thank you for your time.